we're not cashing in whatever statistics out there, the 6 million Muslim Americans that live in the United States and thrive and have attained high positions and have built businesses and have built institutions. It is sad sometimes to watch TV and watch some of these self-proclaimed Middle Eastern experts and they talk about the Middle East and they really have absolutely no clue what they're talking about. I mean, a person who read a book or a person who supposedly, ate a Middle Eastern dish, all of a sudden becomes a Middle Eastern expert. And he's out there talking about the Middle East and saying we should do this and we should do this and we should do this. And he never lived there, never experienced the interaction with the people and so on and so forth. And talking out of a vacuum really makes statement that makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, and remember, there are 1.5 billion Muslims in the world. The large majority of them don't live in the Middle East. They're not Arabic speaking. Indonesia is the largest Muslim country. And so, again, when we talk about Islam as though it's some kind of monolithic entity, that really doesn't make any sense. And I want to underscore what Dr. Enchassi just said about the American Muslim community. One of the most important things we can all do in terms of education is to engage our neighbor, to put a human face on the other. Just open your eyes. The next time you're picking up a prescription at the local drugstore, if you see the pharmacist's name is Muhammad, that might be a clue that this person is a Muslim. And look at the names of the doctors. I mean, it's astonishing the number of prominent people who are wonderful, committed, very active American citizens who embrace Islam. It's not us versus them. We are all in this together. Look what happened in Egypt. We saw pictures coming out of Egypt. There is a long history of Christian-Muslim relations in Egypt. And there's always been problems and points of tension and conflict, and people behave badly in both communities historically. And we see this happening. I mean, there are people who have attacked churches in Iraq and Iran and other places just in recent months. That's a horrible sort of thing. And we also see people who have attacked Islamic, pilgrims, and there are people who are perpetrating violence. But the very fact that there are 15 to 17 million Arabic-speaking Christians who continue to live in the Middle East, which is where Christianity began, and they've been there since the first century, suggests that Muslims and Christians have found ways to live together for 1,400 years. Difficult at times, problematic in some ways, but you also have wonderful stories coming out of Jerusalem and Lebanon and Damascus and Egypt of people living and working and thriving together in community. We actually, I think, can learn a lot from the people who have lived together with their diversity much longer than we have as we try to negotiate our own way in the 21st century in our multi-diverse society in the United States.